I'm Roger Seshadri. I'm the Senior Vice President and the Chief Information Officer for Melco Crown Entertainment. So we are one of the 6 sub-concessionaires to develop and operate integrated gaming resorts in Macau. The core business is still it's gaming. All of our hospitality and the other options like hotels, they're all amenities to the gaming. Each one is catering a different segment of the customers. For example, even within our own organization, the slot Mocha takes care of only slot customers, that it is all residential in nature. Predominantly, the customers are local and residential. Altira, which takes care of what we call junket business. That's their focus is mainly 90% of the revenue comes from junket business. City of Dreams is a combination of mass marketing, junket, and what we call direct premium. So mass market is people who are coming from PRC and various parts of the world, the tourists. Direct premium is the what we call the high rollers, whom we directly work with through our VIP marketing. The junkets are the players which are brought through.
The value of ERP is the power of information. There is so much information available within any organization of any size. The difficulty is not having that information, but then what you do with it, how you leverage that information to make important decisions, and then how you measure the outcome of those decisions to make then future decisions moving forward. So the power of information, making it sort of like applicable to your business and making sensible, calculated business decisions is the ultimate goal.
We had around 40 to 50 different legal entities within our organization. So we never had an integrated product. We were operating in silos. It is very difficult to do intercompany transactions when you have multiple small systems. So as well as when you are closing your books at the end of the month, it's a matter of hours versus matter of it takes a couple of days to close the books. So we found a need for streamlining our business process, have a standard workflow, as well as an integrated system wherein we can pass all the inter-office transactions or intercompany transactions, closing of the books. These are all the process and productivity efficiencies which we accomplished. So in order to do that, we have to have an integrated product, and that is why we chose. When we were evaluating all the products or all the options, ERP options, the products in the market, we initially did a total cost of ownership. From a past experience, I come up from a very large hotel company. We implemented one of the competitors' products. We hardly used 20% of the product. Like you said, why do we need an ERP for a hotel company? We asked the same question. We chose, the previous company chose because that's what the product they were familiar with, that was already chosen. I joined the company later. I noticed the thing is it is not user-friendly. When an accounts payable clerk leaves the company, it takes a long time to train because it is not user-friendly, and 80% of the functionality is not being used. So that's why we felt we need a product wherein the usability is #1 criterion. It's easy to train. It is very user-friendly. It is like when we chose the Dynamics, the user interface is almost like Microsoft Outlook. It is faster to implement, and then it is very inexpensive when we did the total cost of ownership. So we did, based on these criterion, when we presented this to the management team, it was kind of a slam dunk and said, yes, this product works. And then we like I said, from the risk perspective, we mitigated the risk by collaborating directly with Microsoft, and then we did our own proof of concept. That helped us to choose why we chose what we chose.
What is unique about the Microsoft Dynamics platform is absolutely the usability and the integration. Usability is key to enable people to have access to that information using tools or a front end that they're very, very familiar with. You also got to take into consideration staff turnover. Bringing new people on board and getting them up to speed as quickly as possible is a massive expense for all industry, regardless of where they are or what they do. So getting the people on board quickly, getting them comfortable with what they're using on a day-to-day basis, and giving them access to complex information in a simplified form on the day-to-day desktop is a key unique for the Microsoft product.
Benefits, there are like multiple perspectives. One is from the management perspective. When we talk about various stakeholders, the senior management perspective, the user perspective, the technology perspective. From the technology perspective, we have the multi-layered architecture. It is an object-oriented architecture. It is easy to customize. Say, for example, when we did when we can talk about it, I did expatriate management customization, we were able to do it on the fly because of the modular architecture. So the expectation was, from the technology perspective, it is an object-oriented architecture, and those are all the things which you are expecting. So we have to future-proof the technology. Whatever I choose, whatever decision I make, it should not get obsolete. From the technology perspective, that was one. From the finance perspective, like the total cost of ownership, and those are all the areas which we are looking for. From the management perspective, again, we need an integrated product wherein they can get the information on on a real-time basis, online real-time basis. From the end user perspective, it is easy to use, easy to train, etc., etc. I would say we certainly accomplished every one of those, which, like I said, we have tested this by doing this proof of concept ahead of time. So we were able to see those benefits. So needless to say, we continue to optimize. It's as a part of the continuous process improvement, not only just Dynamics, every single system. We are now working on an optimization process, the infrastructure optimization, service optimization, systems optimization. Okay, we said we are going to use Dynamics as our integrated product. Is there anybody out there still using spreadsheet to close our books? So we have started that exercise now. This is the second phase of every single system. Now, this is what we said we are going to accomplish. We accomplished most of it, which I know from what we know. But however, if the end users are still using, anybody out there using a spreadsheet, we need to go and catch them and say, hey, why are you using it? Do we really need it? Is there anything else which we can do? Is it a customization? Is it configurable? What can be done? So that exercise has started across the board, not just Dynamics, not just systems, it is infrastructure, and every single area we are doing this optimization. Like, I've been in this business for a while, so I've opened a couple of casinos. So knowing the past, knowing the cultural diversity, knowing the geographical challenges in getting the vendors, knowing the work permit scenario here. So I had to operate it. As a matter of fact, the Dynamics was done, most of the work was done in Hong Kong. So I had to put virtual teams all over in doing that. So we collaborated with the partners, number one. That is, the collaboration was the first one by working with them. We tested this ahead of time. I had a data center 18 months before I opened this project at Macau Peninsula. So we did all the functionality and interface testing ahead of time on all the core systems. The way I have structured my organization, I have a director of systems, I have director of infrastructure, I have a director of PMO, and director of services. So the director of services focused on meeting with the customer's needs, how do I service, the service level agreement, etc. The systems guy's only job is getting the application system up and running, the interfaces, all those things. That is what his job is. And then I have the PMO. The PMO comprises of the program project management, compliance, process, QA, any on continuous process improvement. That's what the PMO is what we're doing. And then we had set up the infrastructure team, which is the technology infrastructure. So I had identified these teams ahead of time, identified the strategic partners from the vendors. So we collaborated, we did this ahead of time, and we did extensive simulation ahead of time. We created, from the network perspective, we even created a lot of broadcast toms to make sure when we are putting something like a converged infrastructure, first time in Asia Pacific under one roof with 30 to 40,000 devices, with this many disparate systems, we have tested all those things. We have simulated ahead of time. So those are all the things which we did. We knew the challenges from the past. And also I said about construction delivering me a product which is not fit for operations, it's fit for use. So working with the construction, getting involved, collaborating with them, knowing what they are delivering and what is the gap, and identifying that, and put together a couple of other mitigation strategies. I put together a build, operate, transition model, wherein I knew in this part of the world there are not many who have ventured into a converged architecture. So I need to rely a lot on companies like IBM or Cisco who had been there, who had done that, who are international organizations. They are able to leverage people from around the globe to do this project. When Cisco did this, they had to bring in people from all over the world. Similarly, Microsoft, they had brought in their Lighthouse team, and so is IBM. So they brought in their team, then they built it, they operated, and they transitioned that. So knowing all those challenges, setting up the right organization structure, working with the construction team, working with the vendor in a collaborative manner, and put a proper QA framework, like we did the assembly line QA. When something is going in, immediately it is the infrastructure has been QA'd for all the interfaces, the ELV interfaces. It was QA'd by Cisco and then delivered to us. So these are all the framework we had to put in place before we embarked on this.